25th, 2025. Yesterday I did that video asking Agent John, what does he have to do with that fentanyl king? And why is this guy making it personal towards him? See, in the beginning of the case, they told everyone that Agent John was his friend. Or not his friend, but the people doing it, his friend. And they called him up. And he let him get away with this because they were friends. See, people mentioned that a month ago. I thought they were all friends, and that's why he's letting him get away with it. Then they told everybody they paid him off by January or March of 19. He stole the money to the case December 2nd, 22, that he stole the case the first day. October 4th, 23 in Maslin, that Michelle and Lauren with the Judge Peters group, the Henry Mafias group, the Gentleman's Club from Florida, that he stole it for them. And he told Maslin. October 6th, 23, they were talking about it in Walmart 62. It's the one guy from the case's girlfriend he's stealing for. May to June of 19, Louisville, that they were stealing for them. They told everybody that he was in debt to that drug dealer. That he even paid for gay male prostitutes, that he was some kind of swinger. Had a drug problem. And they keep telling, like November 20th or 21st of 23, they took a payoff, and he stole my money in Walmart 62. See, they've repeatedly other places saying how he stole my money. He took a payoff, and the Florida group has said that he stole the money from the case for them. And that Michelle Moore, they even told people up on Forest Grove Drive in 23 that he stole for them, and the neighbors where I was working told them they didn't want him back up there. Okay? And so for them to discredit him, and then they publicly made a fool out of him June 7th, 23, then dared the FBI July 9th, 23, and then called him a coward August 5th, 25. As if he didn't know they were using hypnotic drugs when they drugged her and told her to say it before. That's why she don't remember. He already told people he knew she was being drugged, beat, raped, and he didn't care before it started. And then he even let him torture her and didn't stop him. Is he some kind of coward? And calling Agent John a coward by name. See, and they publicly mocked him June 7th, 23, calling his name out and titled how they made a fool out of him. See, this is going to come down to this. What do they have against you? Opportunity. You didn't arrest them on the spot, so they're mocking you. But then you got to think, we're the fentanyl king. The people that did this to me are sleazeballs. It's what sleazeballs do. You think of somebody in a back alley, greasy hair, local drug dealer, breaking in, roofing somebody, telling them to say something stupid, being raped them, Photoshop washing in the shower in the other room. It's low ball, sleazeball drug dealing. It's sleazeball. But selling the log into the case, that is cartel. Hacking into the FBI case. That is cartel. And last night after I did that thing of where we all work for the king from Texas, we are as men, Dave hired us, he's a drug lord. He's U.S. military Iraqi translator that went into the dark web malware of fentanyl king. That's where the ladies in hijabs and the Middle Eastern men show up. All law enforcement's after them. They've killed agents. See, then you think of some big terrorist being involved in this, and then why? Well, they're selling FBI technology. Is he showing the FBI he can get in their computers? See, they said up in Ravenna, too, in 18 and 19, that some guy was running a social experiment if they killed somebody in front of people. would society go along with it? They all failed. Where people should have been appalled and calling 911, getting on the computer, getting a hold of the FBI, getting a hold of every law enforcement, get down here. Oh my God, look what these terrorists are doing. No, they went along with it for $20, $50. They proved how barbarian people are. And they will let someone be killed for a payout in front of everyone. We're supposed to be a civilized society. This is only supposed to happen like in China and North Korea. Not the United States of America. Did a little trial run if he could get away with it here. He did. That's scary. See, that's where on Friday, my one weird old neighbor, she called me up, and I haven't been over her apartment in a month. She owed Carl some money, so we stopped in when we first moved out. Went to pay him, and I said, "Hey," she said, "Well, I know where you're moving." Da da da. I said, "Well, don't tell the neighbors because I know some of them know how to get a hold of his stepchildren. They've stole all kinds of money and bullied it out of him." I said, "His kids know where we're moving, but I want those thieving stepchildren harassing us." "Oh, I don't talk to them anyways." Don't be a stranger, just because you don't live here, make sure you come back and say hi. Well, a few days later, his stepkids found out we moved and called up and threatened me, threatened him. They're stepchildren. They're not even his kids. How they're going to take care of me because they only want us for harm. They're trying to steal us money. I've already stole almost all of it. So I told the police on them. Right? And I called her up. I said, I can't figure out how. I said, "Did you tell that one neighbor? I know they knew how to get a hold of him during when he had sepsis last year when I found him on the floor." I said, "Because I can't figure out how they found out." She's like, "I didn't tell them." I said, "Well, hard telling how they found out then." I said, "Can you imagine? They called up and how they had ways of taking care of me and all this crazy crap." And I've been it for a few minutes and I got off. Well, I've known her for 6 years. But she's been listening to that crazy guy that lives in my old apartment, how he's in it with these people and he was in there defrauding that agent, how blah, blah, blah. And he acts like the FBI gave him permission to harm me. No, they didn't. Huh? And he was part of this whole big scam and he acts all big and important. He wants you to show up, Agent John, and he arrests that bastard. And she's been listening to me. I could sit in my old room and just listen to him just run his mouth to the neighbors. Okay? Well, she called up. She tried to call me the other day. I didn't answer. And I thought, well, I haven't talked to her in a month. I'll find out what's going on. Call her up. She starts screaming, "I won't have you in my apartment," screaming, "I demand you to tell me if you told da da da." I said, "I haven't been in your apartment in a month. What are you talking about?" And I don't say I demand anything. I don't talk like that. "Where are you getting this? I haven't been in your apartment in a month and I haven't spoke to you in a month. You were just here last week. You were in my..." I said, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Whatever those stepkids do you, you deserve it, da 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 da." I said, "Okay, we'll put it this way. I'm never talking to you again and I'm blocking you." And I said, "I don't know what your problem is. I haven't talked to you in a month and I haven't been in your apartment in a month." And I never said that. And I took a screenshot of the last time I talked to her on the phone was 4 weeks ago. And sent it to her. I don't know if you had a bad dream or what. I know she does a lot of pot and she's on a lot of painkillers. It was probably a drug hallucination. And then I got to thinking, I bet that guy in my old apartment put her up to it. But he did. Because she's mentioned something about the king outside talking to somebody on the phone. Okay? I'm going to leave and some sleazeball from Ravenna told that woman never to talk to her again so she can't find out what's going on. What the hell are you doing here? You're nothing but a sleazeball. See, they all act like we're going to get her, we're going to take care of her, we got it all set up, we got it all planned. You can't touch me. I am an FBI informant in the Witness Protection Program in immunity for life. Like they told the Tuscarora sheriffs, one person says one thing about her, they are to detain them and call the FBI, and an agent will take care of them personally. They already have them under surveillance making fun of an FBI agent for falling for this. They told my ex-husband on November 20th or 21st of 23, after all those things those people did to me, and he had done to me, that nobody could say a word. And that I had rights. See, and he freaked out and fled the country forever. So where they told Dave no one could ever say a word to me, where do you think you have the right? You're nothing but a bunch of sleazeballs. And then you threaten that you're going to take my husband's farm, his Social Security check. You're shaking down the elderly for their land and their Social Security check. You're such sleazeballs. There's a grade school near where I live. Do you go over there and threaten to shake down the kindergartners for their milk money and beat up their mom if they don't give it to them? You're shaking down little kindergartners now, too? You're such sleazeballs? See, you're nothing but sleazeballs. Breaking in private homes, you didn't have special permission. Setting up buying cameras. Stalking people, you have no right. That's a felony invasion of privacy. You go to jail. And it's not admissible under the Act of Privacy. I've already talked to the attorney and prosecutor's office. And then you photoshopping, I found out where they said the tape of Weird with yourself is supposed to be a shower scene, washing yourself in the shower. It wasn't even me. Body ratio wasn't even me. Put my head on somebody else's body. That's why nobody knew about it. And then the drugs and told us and Dave telling Danny April 16, 23, it's just some guy named Petey hired on his own that did it, that proved you to drink, beat, and rape me. You go to jail for that. You question anybody under drugs is pharmaceutical torture, and it's 20 to 30 years. And like the FBI told Tuscarora sheriffs, they're using a doctor that's not one of mine to say stuff about me. That is a federal crime under HIPAA, and they go to jail for 10 years and lose their license forever. See, these people are idiot sleazeballs. Back in the alley, greaseballs, local drug dealers running a drug scam on somebody. They're ignorant. And the other ones were the Florida group. And they already admitted they had Judge Peters' group from Florida were the ones doing it to me before. A drug cartel. That's why it's being drugged, beaten, raped, and human trafficked. And of a doctor that's not one of mine works for them and they had lied, that's 10 years right there. Federal. Taped her on away, Never met him, never talked to him. They're talking about the fake sodium pentothal reports. You drug somebody and question them. It's pharmaceutical torture. Is 20 to 30 years. Do you understand me? You go to jail for these crimes. But they're so ignorant and stupid. Oh, we're going to finally get her. It's been 7 years. Why are you messing with me? Are you that fucking pathetic? They are so afraid, Agent John, you're going to give me my money you owe me from the case. That they're down here stomping their feet like little 2-year-olds laying on the floor screaming, throwing around, slashing, having a 2-year-old meltdown. Oh, we're going to get her. We're going to do this. You ain't going to do jack shit. I'm in immunity from life awarded by the government, the federal government, FBI informant. Like Walter Moss said from the Stark County Prosecutor's Office, Karen, you can't get out. You'll be in immunity for life. You try to say something to a police officer, they are to detain you until a Fed gets there and they'll take care of you personally. It's about time, guys. Now, Agent John, I do want to know why that fentanyl king's after you. That is a good question. Some of the guys were outside where I worked last night. The reason why we're all involved, this is a nationwide human trafficking scam. Well, I know that. I get that. But then there comes down to there's different things that are personal. Why did they know that he wouldn't arrest him? Why? And then them telling that he was friends with him, and then how they're discrediting and they haven't arrested him. He went after the big drug dealers. You know what, though? We're going to put it down to this. Everything keeps getting stir backed up and stir back up. You know the old saying, until you cut the head off the snake, it don't stop. Or put a muzzle on a dog that's yakking. Until you actually do something about the person that is actually doing this, you don't arrest them, it's not going to stop. Because when people find out this whole thing is a scam from Bill from the Freemasons, they give up and then they find a fool the next day. If you don't arrest him, you don't arrest that idiot in my old apartment that I found out through Carl's friend Leah. He's running around telling people I hurt children. I never hurt anybody. And that the police won't say a word to her, yell stuff at her, do stuff. It's back to, remember, in November and December of 18, January 19, they tried to get a lynch party. And that Dave bragged he was going to get people to hang me and was trying to start a lynch mob. Do you remember in June of 19 where they tried to get a group of people to take me out to the field and beat me to death, the hate crime? They're doing the Charles Manson death by proxy. They're trying to get society to kill people they don't want for them. They're trying to trick them where they said it's another murder plot. This is it. If you do not arrest Melissa and everybody else involved, you know how fast this will disappear. You give me my money, they can't enter anything in the courts. They can't touch me. That's where this whole thing is nothing but a bunch of bullshit. Bullshit. And it's nothing but sleazeball bullshit. See, that's where the whole thing. The FBI already dropped off a case file at the Portage County Prosecutor's Office. They know this is an FBI case. They interfere in it, they'd be arrested for interfering in an FBI case. That's also along with Louisville, where Louisville's dirty as hell, and you need to arrest them. Where May 30th, 25, that lady that was with them said that she was going to try to trick me out of money and extort it. She better not be a cop there. Because you think you're going to trick somebody out of money, that's racketeering. Riding with the cops, what the hell is she doing riding with the cops? Exactly. And then that male officer saying that they only pretend to protect me, they should get their pretend paychecks back. You know they sold videos of that. Kids were complaining. We all heard the dirty police department saying they only pretend to protect her. But they found the real case. Like the male officer said, there's a real case. How dumb do I look? I didn't even bother check. I thought, shut up at this point. They said that Lori lives in town from her other job, and they took her family member, and she even, that the Florida drug cartel was here, and she knew who Henry Mafia was. I didn't bother check. I thought, shut up at this point. Even little kids knew they were in town, and the people that work for the king from Texas. And this whole thing is a scam from Bill from the Freemason. They had the surveillance of the cartel saying that on May 26, 25 in Walmart 62. And they were laughing about it up in Summit Mall. See what I mean? Even the dirty cops found it. You need to, FBI, you need to be addressing it with them. Because they've been obstructing justice. And letting human traffickers get away and not doing their job. I dated a police officer. They said if you make a report, the police don't have the right to say, oh, we don't believe you. They have to look into it and go on the evidence. Otherwise, they get arrested for obstruction of justice and tampering with witnesses and evidence. It's badgering. It's obstruction of justice. See, I even talked to other police out of this area, sheriffs. They said the same thing. And where he said he didn't bother to look into anything, you need to address that with him. Because Henry Murphy was sitting in the bars. People talked about him. Everybody knew George Peters' group was there. The Florida drug cartel. And they were laughing how they framed me, drugged me, and told me to say it before. Photoshopped that shower scene, admitting to framing me. All yelling about Melissa's lies and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. All the fucking bullshit. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. See what I mean? Judge Peters and 100 men were arrested in 22 by the FBI. You're welcome for that. See, it wasn't your agent getting tortured. Your agent being bashed in the back of the head. It's not one of your agents going blind from the fast-growing cataracts from being hit in the head so hard. Knocked everything forward. It's your informant. So it wasn't your agent being beat until their intestines almost ruptured and has large pouching. Wasn't your agent being drugged until they lost 70 pounds and their stomach shifted up under their ribs. It wasn't your agent being human trafficked. It was your little informant. It wasn't one of your agents almost being shot driving. It was your little informant having to hide on a shooting night, facing 6 stalkers, being raped, tortured, human trafficked. I lived through hell. I like my money. I need a medical card and a letter of thank you. And where the police that worked my case, she was part of a really big bust, and you need to be proud of what you lived through. Because of what you lived through, you helped save a lot of lives. She's amazing. She deserves a hell of a lot more respect than what people give her. She almost died to save everyone. Karen around the house. Karen's will. FBI informant. Stark County Courthouse. Protected home custody. Threat and attempt to life. Witness protection program.